Recipes for Teaching Reading, Module 2, Unit 1. We have a problem. The problem is that students equate reading with test prep. And recently I asked my students to rate enjoyable activities, and they rated test prep as one of the least enjoyable activities in the world. So what should we do about this? I'm Professor Joseph Polshock, and this is Elemental Linguistics. So what can we do about this problem? Well, to solve this problem, we can do reading the right way. And that means that we can prioritize the most important kind of reading. So what is the most important kind of reading? To answer this question, let's look at 3 kinds of reading that language learners need to practice. This comes from Dr. Paul Nation's great book, What Should Every EFL Teacher Know? Highly recommended. So Dr. Nation recommends 3 kinds of reading. 1, extensive reading, which is big, easy, and enjoyable reading. Intensive reading, which is for study, and it's for language learning and studying grammar, vocabulary, etc. And fluency reading, which is about speed reading and improving your reading speed. So let's talk about these 3 kinds of reading. First, big, easy reading, or as we like to call it, ER, extensive reading. In short, extensive reading or big, easy reading should be big. And we can usually say that if a learner has read 300,000 words, they've crossed this big threshold. They've actually read big. Before that, you can say you're doing big reading, but when you've actually, or you're trying to do big reading, but when you've reached 300,000 words, you can say, I have read big. After 300,000 words, learners gain confidence. They stop translating from their first language to English, for example, and you can measure results. So big reading begins the threshold when you cross it at 300,000 words. It also needs to be easy, which means that as you read big for pleasure, you need to know 98% of the words on every page. That means only 2 unknown words per page. Any more than that, and it's too difficult. And lastly, the E stands for enjoyable. Read for fun. It's like play. In fact, reading has been shown to be one of the most common flow experiences where people forget about time and enjoy reading as its own reward. When we do big, easy reading, we don't do comprehension questions. No comprehension questions and no language-related activities. The goal is to read big and enjoy. And Nation says the best learner is not the one who gets all the questions right, not the one who does all the most language-related activities. The best learner is the one who reads the most. That's why we call it big reading. The second kind of reading for language learners is intensive reading, or I like to call it study reading. You see the guy with the binoculars, he's looking at the details, trying to get into deeper things. So you focus on grammar and vocabulary and discourse, right? Like what does this it refer to, or what does the they refer to, things like that. Shorter text, of course, for study reading style. And this is important, you need to know at least 90% of the words. Less than that, and it's not intensive reading, it's called torture reading. Please do not have your students try to read text where they know less than 90% of the words. On a 1,000 word text, right? 4 pages, A4 size. If you know 90% of the words, you're still going to find 100 unknown words. If you know 70%, do the math, pretty simple. 1,000 words, 70%, you know 700. You don't know 300, it's way too difficult. Too much noise, not enough signal. Right, and when you do intensive reading, you can do some vocab questions, you can do some grammar questions, but not too many. You want to focus on the message. The third kind of reading is fluency reading or speed reading. You read to improve fluency. When you're practicing for fluency, you need to have 100% vocabulary coverage. You can't be reading material that you don't know to practice fluency with it. I can't play a new song on my ukulele fluently. I have to learn it first. So work with words and language that you already know. Also, you want to do a speed reading course. So you for example, work with 20 different stories. Each one you read it, use a timer, and then take a quiz afterwards. Try to get maybe 70% on the quiz, not 100% because you're going for speed, trying to push your speed up. Track your results and see if you can improve over time. Nation suggests that a goal could be reaching for 200 words a minute. Remember that a native speaker can average about 300, 350 words a minute. So 200 words a minute is a good goal for a second language learner of English, for example. So what are the 3 kinds of reading? You can use this acronym, EFI, to help you remember. E stands for extensive reading, right? F stands for fluency reading, and I stands for intensive reading. So which one is the most important? Usually in language classes, teachers focus on the I, intensive reading. Got to do it for study. Remember, students equate reading with test preparation. That's intensive reading, but that is not the most important one. The most important one is big, easy reading. Nation says the single most important improvement a teacher can make to a course is to add a substantial extensive reading program. Let me elaborate on that. The most important improvement a learner can make to their own learning program is to do extensive reading. The most important improvement that a teacher can make to a class is to add extensive reading to that class. The most important improvement that a school can make to their English language program is to add extensive reading. The most important program that a whole nation at the Ministry of Education can do to improve, for example, the English language education in Japan, the most important improvement that Japan as a nation could do, for example, is to add an extensive reading program in every school all around the whole country. Why? Because reading is for life. It's not just for test prep. We read for enjoyment. We read to get smarter. We read to learn about the good life. We read to increase our happiness. The most important improvement we can make to a language program at any level is to do big reading. That's all I have for today. Thank you for listening.